Oh, the mic was off. Of course it was off. Alright guys, welcome to today's stream. We're going to be going over some technical analysis for the SPY Qs, Apple, Tesla, Amazon, NVDA, AMD, and Meta going forward. Probably looking at some AMC and GME today too. Look at this big drop. We're dropping off a cliff a little bit here. We got those daily expected moves to shift down just a little bit. Just something about yesterday's move with that dollar heading up while the market was heading up was kind of worrisome to me. And now look at this as we see the dollar drop while the market actually drops. So this is where I was kind of leaning towards, hey, maybe that first bigger bounce or first bounce needs some kind of 2-hour divergence or something like that. Hey, that would go make it right now if we were able to curl down and then curl back up by the end of the day. But as this is a massive gap down, that's not necessarily how you wanted to create that, right? You more so, you more so wanted it to do it with the price action, not really gap, but see that a little bit of a gap and then continue going. That way you can get this to kind of elongate and really be able to measure that momentum there. But now you're just going to get a gap down. And so when you do get a gap down like this and it's outside the daily, you still have that risk of this not setting up a divergence right here. You could just drop off a cliff, literally. So we'll see. We have that weekly expected move below us, so we shouldn't really be scared of losing anything major, as we do have some key support levels all up in here. We have one down here. We have one down here that we're getting past. And good morning, everyone. Good morning. Ooh. My wife made the coffee this morning. Oh God, it's great. Qs as well, just so you're aware, those daily expected moves have shifted down a bit. 485.63 and we have 475.61, so they have shifted down just a little. But if we notice from this area, what do we have? That's like pretty much the exact area for the head and shoulders. If you look at this, you can kind of see that form in here. And then if this hourly crosses down, yeah, your most likely target, if this selling can continue for just a little bit, is going to be that weekly expected move bottom side. So who really gave up on this? Was it one of these earnings? Goog. Goog. The Goog. Ew, the Goog. Yeah, PCC is too high, and you're seeing the dollar drop off while the market drops off. So weirdly enough, that could be a sign of insider buying. But, you know, those things have been kind of tricky lately. Yesterday, it ended up being right. Remember when we were like, hey, this is going up at the same time. It looks like a rigged thing. And then the SPY started to turn back down, obviously. So ended up being a signal to pay attention to. But what else is moving? I think Apple was confirming the next move down again. Ooh, it was just about to, right on the edge of going positive, and look how important that is. Now you've built a lot of room to go down from here. Amazon. Oof, Amazon, you got the 2-hour to curl up a little bit, so it's a little worrisome. The hourly turns down. Yeah, you're just pretty much, my target would be this 174.51, because I think you've bought yourself enough room that if you start to break below this 181.50, you're probably heading down like this guy. So I think that 174.51 might become important again. Do you have plays right now? Well, if you remember, I had my volatility play going into yesterday. I said live, I'm getting this funky feeling right here, sold out of that. And then I was kind of waiting, actually. I'm kind of waiting for the next play. So the reason I'm waiting is because, yeah, this could be some kind of 30-minute or hourly swing trade to the downside or something like that. But I more so want to make sure I'm taking good plays. So I'm waiting for all of my things to really set up. Like if you notice right here on this hourly chart, what if the stock market just popped down to here and then we popped back up? And then tomorrow, right, is today Wednesday, right? Yeah, and then tomorrow we get GDP, and then that thing pops off. Kind of crazy, right? So we technically could be seeing this hourly divergence here. We could see a little 2-hour divergence here, right? Maybe, but I think the hourly or like something like that would be where it shows up. But I just want you to see how even if we did drop here and we'd be pointing towards that weekly expected move, which is still very likely. First thing in the morning, though, we have to pay attention to if that drops a little bit lower, right, and then makes that divergence for us. That's what we have to pay attention to first, because we have to say this is out of a daily zone, so it can reach back up. I don't know if AMC was halted. Meta's so meta, dude. Well, Meta was one that we were more so like, yeah, this thing looked like, hey, there's weakness in the MACD. We said it, well, it was more in the RSI. We kept saying there's a little bit of weakness here in the RSI telling us this could curl over. Still potential here, I think, for a higher low, but we'll see. It's just an upward trajectory here, so you could say a higher low would be possible, but as that 2-hour curls over, it looks like we are. We're probably going to head towards that 453.08. AMC halted right now? What do you mean? There's no way. No. I don't think so. It was halted. Oh. Interesting. That's so... Huh. This guy just was really trying to curl up this 2-hour. You don't see a lot of price action like this, by the way, on the 2-hour. You don't see this type of look very often. But if that can break through, that might be a good thing. Yeah, that's very weird. Only the cool kids get the pre-market halt. Yeah, okay. Let's go take a look at volatility for a second here. Yeah, you're noticing this, though. So even though I'm talking about those possible divergences, possible places for a bounce, just because the PCC is high and we're seeing the dollar drop off, we have to be aware if there's going to be a rig to move. But at the same time, you have volatility that hasn't even crossed on this MACD yet, like really. So you need, if you get some green here, so some more selling in the markets, more volatility, this could curl up and we could break through to even more volatility. My goodness. How is it halted on? Didn't it already put out the news? What news? Like what freaking news besides like the debt restructure do we really want or need? Why are they doing that? I just don't get it. Like I don't get it. Like it's going to cost you probably more money to fight the problem continually and then pay for it in the end instead of just like letting it loose now. It's just like our freaking government with inflation. They're like, no, we're gonna tackle it the super slow way so we don't crash the market and we can pump money into the system and cause that inflation to go way up, but we're gonna do it the slow way for a soft landing. It's like, or you could have, raised rates dramatically and actually dealt with the inflation that people go through pain for a year. The same friggin' thing is in AMC and GME. It's like, if you really are doing something that bad and all the people have to do is hold it, then why would you keep pumping money into it to suppress it down? It just makes the problem bigger and then you lose more money in the end. Whereas if you would have at the beginning just like covered everything and been like, okay, we got caught, you probably could have got away with something. Like, it's so funny. Like, I just don't get it. I don't know. Also, I don't know why I'm like saying the word like a lot today and I hate it. Meta dropping off a cliff, all right? 2-hour looks like you might set up that divergence down here towards 453.08. You have earnings on Wednesday. Wednesday, July 31st. That is a birthday of someone that I need to get a gift, but that is a week from now. So you can do a lot from a week from now. You can do a lot. You can do that. You can do this. You know, there's a million different things you could do, but if this crosses over, then it's really looking like you're going straight for that 453.08. AMC halt, why? Apparently news. Let me scan some stuff real quick. Let me scan it. Why am I not seeing anything? Halted due to news pending, yeah, so. Is that even, did they just like figure out their next trick? They're like, oh, if we just say there's news coming, we can halt that shit. Hey, you know the cool part about NVIDIA here is it's giving you a pullback and you might have structure for downside, actually. You can see this left side. If you come down to here, you could see a right side, and that wouldn't be a good time. That'd be a bad time. That'd be like not a good time. But if this 2 hour can curl down instead of making that extra hump, all right? Instead of curling down, going like this, and then coming back down, what if it just shot down right now, did this, and then just spiked back up? Ooh, that might be something to look into. We'll find out. We'll find out. But pretty much you need to know this. If this turns down in negative territory, that means bad things. If the 30-minute, though, can turn back up into positive territory, that means good things. Just so you're aware. What else has a big move? Tesla down 10 freaking percent. This thing got tighter and tighter, tighter and tighter. Do you? I think, were you guys were you here when I drew this shit out? I think we drew it like this, right? Then we took the bottom side. Actually, I might have taken it from here, but we're gonna just take it across like this. We're waiting for that break. You get that break, but do you ever fully come outside of this? Like, really? No. You just curl down on a 30-minute and you never curl back up. So these breaks here should not fake anyone out. Then it just spikes down. So earnings was, well, I'm gonna say obviously not good. The daily scale has rolled over multiple times here, so now we are in that pullback mode. We're gonna look for this area for a bounce for now. But if we need to head lower, I could understand that. See what happens with this going forward. Who the heck subscribed to me? I swear. Oh, Daniel Lee. Never mind, it's just you. You're cool. All right, SPY. SPY really wanted to cross over on maybe like a weekly chart. That would not be good. Hughes, you look like you want to too. Gosh, you guys are just crazy. I think it was the hourly charts though are gonna look nice here. As you get to that, actually maybe even 30-minute, because if you see this turn around. Now this is pointing directly towards the weekly expected move. A lot of the time you gravitate more towards the weekly expected move. What the heck's happening in AMC? They halted it on pending news, which is something that they did yesterday or whatever. So pretty hilarious, right? Hey, there's pending news. Watch, by like noon, they're gonna be like, they're selling popcorn now. It's like, oh, yeah, that's the pending news that we use to halt it. Nice. Must be good news, or there's just no news and they're halting the stock. You already got great news for AMC, by the way. There is no reason that this should be at $5 anymore. And you know that from the price action right after the news. You know that from there. And then you just know, hey, they're going to suppress the stock. Like, there is no reason for AMC to be this price anymore. There's no reason. You have no risk of bankruptcy in any way. If anything, this should have shot up to $24 or $23 and held there. Just, sorry, that's a debt restructure, and that gives you time to make profit, and the business has improved all summer, and I'm just telling you, like, there's no way this should be priced at $5 anymore. And I think Ken Griffin's shitting his pants. Ooh, Apple really wanting to turn down on this hourly. This is where we'll look for a tiny little divergence down here. I could see that, Vardis. They really like to follow each other. Is the whole market halted? Oh, man. Now, I would just be a little bit careful with these big drops. I just want to show you guys again. This is really curling down here. Now, I'm not saying any of this, like, you know, has to happen, but it's a point to be aware if we're going to make some kind of divergence or even, you know, come down here on a 30-minute chart and just see this turn back around. That can be a positive move still. You see where your MACD is at. It is right by that center line. It can curl right back into positive territory. So this is our 68% zone for the day. We'll see what's going to happen from here. But for the most part, we would say this is bad for now. If it makes a signal that proves to look like a good thing, like it's going to get back in this zone, that's when we react. We don't just guess that something is going to happen. But while the SPY is dropping, the dollar is dropping. And in the past, that has been a lot of inside buying. That does not mean to take a play right now. This could all be a trick. Those dollars could be going in a completely different place. Maybe they're going into gold or Bitcoin or something. I don't. AMC is just, they have news, and obviously they're going to halt. They would not halt, you know, NVIDIA if it had surprising news, right? They would not do that. They're going to really mess with anything they can. I would not be surprised if they're like, oh, sorry, there was no news. My bad. The big news was there was no news. Big news today. There's no news. Thoughts on he? He. I mean, this looks like some kind of squeeze behavior. I've never, like, that is just a weird thing there. Why does it look so strange? But, hey, you're curled up, positive territory, positive move. Starting to get a little overbought, so I just watch out up there. No way. No, they didn't. But this here is going to be interesting because we'll see if you make a little divergence or something like that. But as it goes, you're pointing up, straight up. Now you might see a pullback soon, right? You might see a pullback. Hawaiian Electric Industries. And you have earnings when? Okay, August 9th. You have a little bit of time. You know they did not release earnings. Did they? No, you're messing with me. Stop it. Oh, halted is. Hold on, I'm trying to see here. All right, let's see. Oh. Maybe they are releasing earnings. Oh my God, don't release earnings and then we see a pop. Then we get diluted shares, watch, to pay for the rest of the debt. Oh God. Makes me scared. All right, the 2 hour is curling up here for GME. We got to see if that thing can cross soon. Trying to get some positivity in there. Good part is we just have to get above 28.08 in order to head forward. AMC, kind of weird that there's no timer over here and it's not moving. It's like it's halted or something. That's pretty crazy. Man. So we can't really do much over there until things open back up. Oh boy, what a day, what a day. The dollar is still spiking to the downside, so just be cautious of taking, I mean, like I said, there could be a time where the dollar does go down, because cash needs to go down in order for them to buy into, say, something like AMC or GME. What if all the, oh my God, I'd be so surprised if all this halting was so they could get positions either in one direction and we just see a massive gap up or gap down. I think you do have potential for that. When's this thing gonna open back up? Last time it took like, what, 55 minutes? So, how about AM? Okay, that thing curling down, boy. Okay, so the 30-minute is curling down in this area. Remember what we talked about here was overall seeing if this can go with that tapering or even do a better job and just touch in the top of this zone. That would be a good look. Right, we touch in this zone somewhere just a little bit lower, give us another form of tapering, see that curl down, see that curl back up, get that thick little divergence right there across the way. Halted because they're releasing some kind of info, at least that's what we know as of right now, is some kind of info, news is released, and they are not going to be allowed to see any price action from it, I guess. So if this curls down, curls right back up, ooh, good things. I think that's actually a good sign. I think you've really tapered, you've proven you want to kind of change that trend around a little bit. You start doing that, but as it does curl down, none of those signals, like this is what you got to understand too, is like when I say these things, it doesn't mean, oh, if it goes down here, it's gonna do that. No, it's more, this means very bad things. And when you curl over on this MACD really close to that center line, it should mean bad things. And so you want to wait until it says good things. You want to wait until it says that that good thing is going to happen. Then you react. Try to make that clear. I like how they claimed halts are to help you as an investor. No, they are not. They are there to specifically hurt you. We've shown this on GameStop's stock price all the time with the halts. T1 halt. Can't buy gold. Looks like the Q's just made a head and shoulders. Yeah, we'll look at that real quick. You can see it here. Breaking down pretty significantly here. So we are dropping like a rock with the Q's, and this is what you would see maybe before the big moment of maybe some of the meme stocks, but this could just be because of some earnings scares, and then we'll see with more earnings coming out. AMC is unhalted and going down, but we'll see what happens from here, guys. I'm not going to freak out or anything. Looks like the AMC news isn't good. Well, I have no idea what the news is. Genuinely no idea. Like I don't even know. I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, I can't really say much about like what's going on here. All I know is if this curls up, I'm trying to figure it out on my other screen, but if this 2 hour can curl up into positive territory, hey, you're going to see a positive move, right? But look how it's still in negative, so you really got to fight back, get up in these areas, and then you got to burst through that 574. You burst through that, you're good to go. I think what happened was they halt with the news. I think it was, if the earnings dropped and it looked like this, I don't think it's the worst in the world. I'm just trying to figure out where, if those numbers are even real. Like, I can't tell. Yeah, I just can't really tell. I genuinely can't. I wish I could. It's just very weird. All right, you're seeing that 2 hour curl over. We got the hourly curling over. We got both things pointing to the downside. We just want to look really early on today. I think if this 30-minute even curls up, it's still by the center line. 68% zone above us. Someone just wrote, AMC halted to the open on the way up. I feel so protected. Thank you, SEC. Oh, that's good stuff. Is GME options trading on? Well, hey, I just saw a spike in my options trading for AMC. Someone's under the cover is buying this stuff. I'm telling you right now, someone under the cover I think is buying calls in AMC. My position just went up in value by like almost 150%, and the stock went down, so something might be happening there. Let me check GME for you. That's crazy. Yeah, I think everything's behaving normally. Yesterday I was looking at yesterday. Well, I haven't seen the actual like earnings report. I'm gonna go look again. I just can't seem to like. I mean, I'll try again, but it just keeps not popping up for me. Very annoying. I'm drinking my coffee black today. Neither that harsh. Like usually, so like this is what I'm saying, it's so frustrating. Because their earnings supposed to be on the 8th. If they put out earnings, it should tell us the freaking earnings. Like, okay, now the position's back down. Interesting. They're gonna force this so they get the earnings, they get the data early. Hold on. AMC Entertainment Holdings second quarter preliminary results and announcement of second quarter. Okay, boom. Let me click on this. Total revenues for the quarter ended June 30, 2024 to be approximately 1.03 billion compared to 1.34 billion. Total revenues for the quarter to approximately, but the quarter ended June 30, 2023. Net loss for the quarter ended 2024 to be approximately 32.8 million compared to net earnings of 8.6 million for the quarter ended June 30, 2023. So the loss was bigger. The diluted loss per share for the quarter ended June 30th, 2024 to be approximately 10 cents compared to diluted earnings per share of 0.06 for the end of 2030 of 20,231, whoever wrote this article. Interesting. So shoot it down. The good part is, one thing that we were watching, the 2-hour never curled up. Very glad, because I'm not going to be faked out by that one. No gracias. I'm okay. They're drawing a reverse Harry Potter on the thing there, okay? This you know what this is? I know what this is. I know what this is. I got it. Okay. Give me a second here. Let me get something going here for a second. Oh, come on. There's got to be one good one. Sure. Oh, I need to like edit this to delete out the background and shit, but it's a diving board. We're just gonna spring off it down here. I'll edit it later. It's a high diver jumping up, about to jump off of 437 and then springboard into the absolute moon before everyone sells, and then it craters into the water. But they have 2 million short shares on AMC, dumping it now. Let's put it shows up for me on TradingView. Yeah, I just saw it a second ago. I looked at it on my other charts. I have more settings on over there. No one is selling. What a joke. I'm not. I mean, did you guys hear? I'm not selling. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, oh, this is definitely retail making these moves. No, it's freaking not, dude. DOA is in deep trouble. Sure, the sure effect is not what they expect. Nah, bro, there ain't no way. Ain't no way. Yeah, Friday expecting more news. So many negative on AMC topic on Twitter. Warren B sees the banks playing a dangerous game. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's like Vanguard is just like not holding some of the bank stocks anymore. Regarding to the halt this morning. Yeah. I bought more AMC. Nobody's selling. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about it right now. I am definitely thinking about it right now. I can tell you that. I just want to see where the actual target is, because this daily is starting to turn down for a little bit, right? So we're starting to lose all those moving averages, so I do want to be just a little cautious, because this could do a flash thing. What if the overall game is to convince people it's dead and really force it down? Then you go back to that 250 level and turn up. That's why I'm like, I'm really watching today and the next few days carefully for AMC, because you're starting to lose all of these moving averages, right? And you see how the Bollinger Bands are tight. So if that were to break open tomorrow, we might see a huge move down, and then maybe we see an uptick in the future. But right now you are closing below those moving averages. I hope it does some kind of random sporadic move to the upside. I'm not hoping it goes down by any means. I'm not shorting this. I'm never going to short this, because I believe in the problem. If I was shorting this, then I'd be part of the problem. That's not my goal. So, but you can see how that's bad, right? I'm not going crazy. Like, everyone can see how this is a daily bar curling down below all the moving averages, rejection from the 200 multiple times. The monthly moves, yeah, we can go check those out for you real quick. Of course we can. Okay, those monthly moves are going to be, and we got there back here in the beginning of July, if you recall, and 499, okay, 499.54 to the upside for the Qs, and we have 458.68 to the downside. And you see we're kind of heading that direction. I wonder if we'll keep going. Yeah, well, they're never going to halt to the downside. Like, we shouldn't even think, we should expect it. Like, here's the thing, that's why I'm overall a lot of the time saying with AMC and GME, if they curl over on a 2-hour or daily or whatever chart, if they curl over, it means the stock is being pushed down, which means it can go down dramatically, and it goes down dramatically. Sure, there's going to be little choppy times, but for the most part, when it is curling down, they really are forcing it down. And then we build back, and then we build back, and then they have to force down again. So we really have to pay attention to when these things actually curl up, while also maintaining the fact that it can happen at any time. So it would be a good decision on my end to, like, hey, maybe I just want to hold some of the stock in case, and then play an options play later. Mara, you curl up on this 2-hour, you're going to see some positivity here. You're still by that center line. 30-minute though looking pretty deep, so you might want to go a little lower first. Some kind of touch in that. Actually, you've already gotten a touch in that zone, but you'd want some kind of prolonged bounce, see if that drops. Another thing we could do here is look at the Bitcoins. Make sure to pay attention to this on a 4-hour chart, because if that thing curls up, that's going to be some good price action to the upside, and then we can see that upward move. You see how it's right by the center line, but you also see how we have these divergences with these highs, if I could draw. So if you go make another one, if we see that pop up, watch out, because that could be brief. We could head down with that other point of divergence here. But that divergence does not have to be created, by the way. I always just mention it so you can think into the future a little bit. This could just curl up and violate everything, It's Bitcoin. I want you to be aware of that. Good luck, everyone, and happy trading. BMY to the moon. Oh, that's right, BMY. You were looking at that, weren't you, Mr. Short Fridays? Ooh, okay. How we doing here? That is some solid divergence, I gotta say. This move right here, this is solid divergence. It's solid. Morning, Josh. Randy says that I need to buy AMC. I already did, so I already did, bro. But if it goes down to 437, I'll probably buy more. This is kind of my accumulation area. I really like it. Can you check Visa? Did Visa put out their earnings as well, correct? I believe. Well, that daily scale turning down, right? Closing below the 200, not a good sign. What? Visa hasn't been... Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Wow, that is some terrible price action. Yeah, you would say this is very freaking negative, and there is almost no trade setup on any time frame that I would be confident enough to share. I know I can do UVXY. I don't necessarily trade the VIX directly. I always do UVXY for fun. Look at that move. God, it's beautiful. Aren't I glad that I took out my position now? I should have took the opposite. I was very confident with that too. But as far as it goes... Yeah. AMD is bleeding. Oh no. Fantastic, coach it, let's go. How long does it take for the news to come out? I'm pretty sure the news already came out. Pretty sure they gave earnings and it didn't seem like they fully hit, if I'm reading that correctly. Revenue 1.03 billion, net loss 32 million, EPS is -10. Cash and cash equivalents 770 million. I can't wait to see the actual income statement. Hold on. Sorry, I'm just trying to read and see if we get, like, I can't really, like, I kind of look at what's being said about the earnings or what was kind of released, and I'm like, this reading into this is so strange. All right, AMD starting to head to the downside here. We want to see if it can head down a little bit lower. Do not think that AMD can't head lower, and then we want to see if this curls up and goes positive. But just so you're aware, The weekly expected move downside for AMD is down here. All right, so you can head lower. But we still want to pay attention to our little signals here. See if that 30-minute curls back up. Now, that's been wonky for some time, so maybe we want to believe in something else here. See if that 2-hour makes a divergence for us. And guess what? One 2-hour bar can take you all the way down towards 140. A very key thing going on there. As far as meta goes, this thing is dropping, right? But guess what? It's not even close to its weekly expected move. It can go all the way down to like 450. So if this thing curls over right here on the 2-hour, looking like a swing trade to the downside below the 200, just so you're aware. Microsoft, this one trying to hold up a little bit better, so we'll pay attention to that. Google could not hold. Google could not hold. See that hourly curl down. If this thing builds back, I will be very surprised. I will just say that. Who else is just taking a beating besides Tesla? I mean, Tesla, we're just picking on Tesla at this point. But I'd still say I like this little zone here. We've seen some buying out of that zone before. This on the daily scale is like really saying pull back now. Now you do something like this, you consolidate for a little bit, then you start to head up again. That would make sense if we're going to see one more run into the year. If we're not, then this might just break through that 200 and that 50. That would be bad. That would be bad. Just like that's bad. That's bad. I have a feeling AMC is going to go green and shoot today. Well, I'm gonna shoot. Sorry, that was from McGruber. My bad. I know. Talking about stocks here, guys. God, stop goofing off. All right. Well, we're seeing this thing start to turn up a little bit, right? We're starting to wick out a little bit, but overall, you'd have to say we're turning down. This thing hasn't crossed up. So all we need to do is see that thing cross up. See that thing cross up and go positive. You can feel pretty confident with that one right there. Ooh, Short Fridays, thank you for the $5. What are we thinking is a good hard support level for GME? We might take a chance on gobbling some back up. For GME, my support level has always been right around, yes, it's been violated before, right? I think we made this back in this area. We made this 2456. And then we made this like these lines of support for when it dropped below. But 2456 has always been my line for where we could see some good stuff. And thank you so much for the $5 donation. So we notice here, what do we do at 2456 after we mark that off? We marked that off like way back here. But we just noticed that every time we get to this level, we see some kind of fight and then a direction chosen, some kind of fight and then a direction chosen, some kind of little fight, then a direction chosen, then a direction gapped below. Then we hover there again and we break out to the upside. So now we're hovering there and we got to say 2456, are we going to springboard off of it? Or are we going to consolidate and break below it? Very, very confirming below it. We'll have to see, but that's the level I would really pay attention to right now. Oh yeah, I mean, my buddy is like a McGruber super fan. He threw my block box, so I was like really bummed about it. Good morning and thank you for the discount. I like that. I like that sentiment there. Lulu, are you okay? You are not okay. So this is the best part about, you know, the strategies. If you're really going to do what I do in strategy-wise, if you're really going to do it, all right? Because you'll see a lot of crazy things like this when you're trying to get an investment. Obviously, I know somebody out there is seeing this huge downward move and going, I'm going to buy an option for it to go to 360 in the next week. And I'm like, yeah, that's a rough one. I don't think that this is a good thing to do. I overall would just say manage your trades if you're going to be one of those people who really makes those kinds of bets. You really want to pay attention to your MACD here because this told you on the 30-minute that Lulu crossed down right here and it never crossed back up. So that should in no way convince you that this thing's going to bounce back up. I think we even mentioned hey, look for that to bounce off of this level and then turn back up. That's the key thing. You need the turn back up. So you're not getting that as of right now. If things change, that would be awesome. It looks like you got a bunch of 2-hour divergences and stuff, so you still can bounce. Don't think you can't, but you gotta watch the signals. Right now, is it saying bounce? No, it's saying absolute garbage. Until that just turns back up, then you could say, hey, this isn't absolute garbage anymore. So that's bad. That's bad. You think cost is also waiting for AMC and GME? I mean, we can take a look at it real quick. I believe this one doesn't even have options behind it, right? But we're just noticing the 2 hours still by that center line, kind of consolidating, okay? So we got to see if that's going to break down. But as far as it goes for the daily scale, you're turning down. So you could see a further pullback here. I'm just going to add more on beta tomorrow. Okay, Ken, I believe. That's cool, that's cool. But I'm just saying for cost, you just have to acknowledge you're in that daily pullback, right? In that daily pullback, the most likely thing is you continue to pull back. But if you can start to roll up on some 2-hour charts, right? Your positive territory is there. You have a chance to see something if this can roll up. But I just want you to notice it has not rolled up. So being patient is a very good thing. Wait for that to fully confirm, get above these moving average, and then you could say, oh, there's potential for a good move. But if that rolls back down, that good move's done, right? It can be very quick. The gold about to turn up on the 2-hour, giving you a huge swing trade signal to the upside. Thought that'd be fun to point out this morning. Let's go look at that dollar really falling off here. Now we have to see, oh, whoa, wait a minute here. The VIX is now up by 11.35%. Are we about to see something crazy, or are we about to see an update in the SPY tomorrow? Interesting. This has crossed up, and yes, we can look up but at Boeing, but for now, we're seeing that, ooh, okay, so this will just be a simple one. 30-minute curling down right now, that means negativity, right? Let's keep it as simple as possible. When this thing curls down over here, what happens? Well, it curled down. Oh, that thing went down. Let's maybe try, maybe right here when we're in like negative territory. Oh, we curled down right here. What happened? Well, we bounced up, and then we curled back down. All right, cool. So if that's happening right now, and yeah, I always know there's potential for a bounce, but what if in like a day we end up down here because this thing is crossing over? That's all. If we cross down like this and we turn back up, then you're back to positive. But if this confirms a red bar here, you can see negativity. You have 20 minutes left in the bar, but we'll see if that thing can confirm. Yeah, we can look at NVIDIA as well. NVIDIA really dropping down, back down into this area. Remember where we set up almost like a double bottom across here if you ignore this? Now, if you do curl up, you can see positivity. But you have to say now you might have some structure to fall a little bit lower. So what we want to see is maybe if things are curling over, since this has been a little bit on the 30 minutes, see if things are heating up on the 2-hour. If that's really curling down, it's not curling down. It's starting to wick out a little bit. So if this would have curled down, we could have said, oh, weekly expected move, things like that. But since it hasn't, it's trying to build back. I'd really watch this 30-minute buy positive territory, see if that thing can curl back up. He reads chat pretty often. Yeah, I do read chat very often as I can. So today I'm trying to look around at some stuff, but did someone try buying 1 share of gold? You can't buy GLD right now? That's strange. I'll go look at that. SPY is oversold. Well, it depends on what time frame you're looking at, okay? On a 30-minute, you're going to see it oversold. On a 2-hour, you might be getting towards oversold, but you're not. So on the 2-hour, you are not oversold. Right? On the daily, you're definitely not oversold. You're just starting on the daily. If you look at daily momentum here, you're just starting. That's just starting to cross that center line. Yeah, Lyad, I looked at NVIDIA real quick if you saw. What is going to happen for AMC in the coming weeks? Well, it depends on how this plays out. You can see the moment at any time. But for the most part, when we've seen these good moves, okay, and maybe GME is the better example, but for the most part, we've seen some kind of big downward move, right? So you notice even back here before that sneeze in the past, back in May, well, you see how, ooh, that was a big drop. I think you might see a moment like that. I still think you have potential to see it really at any time, but more so you could see something like that to really shake people out. And then we see that build up over time, and start to grow. Now, the only other thing I would really pay attention to here is this is not extending this Bollinger Band down right now. You are very tight in this duck-like structure. If you see, we have a duck-like structure here. And yeah, we got a bird structure here, which is giving us a bird beak structure. And when he caws, right? When you hear the bird tweet and caw, his mouth is then going to open, which will launch this bar up into the sky here. That's called the duck pattern. Yeah. No, but in all seriousness, what I'm trying to get out of this is you're not really spreading out the Bollinger Bands to the downside. You're not spreading them out to the downside. No, I'm not serious. I'm just trying to be funny because I got bored for a second. My ADHD said be funny. Now, what we really want to see is moments when that daily crosses up. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Welcome, Joe Lamb. Thank you so much for saying hello to him, guys. I missed that subscription for a second there. But just every time you see that rejection going positive, okay? We see this going positive. We see a good move. Right here we went positive, and that move kind of shut down pretty quick because that 200's getting there. If we can just make this curl up, all you need is that daily to curl up again. Now we don't have to worry about earnings. We got earnings out of the way. And this is not spreading out the Bollinger Bands, which tells me now we've opened up this little bit on the Bollinger Band. And if we just did that, oh my gosh, if we closed above that 200, you'd probably be breaking through. So you are at a time where it's very close. You saying we're boring, guys? No. You guys aren't boring. You're not. But sometimes the whole suppression of AMC is a little bit boring because it's just like, all right, halt it, suppress it, and we're going to be bored for another day. Now, GME is even tighter, just so you're aware for GME. You see how tight this is as well. And look where it is, right by that move. You have to get above that. Give him a call. Yeah. Not everyone can have the Japanese mayo. It's for special people only. But GME, this one here, it's very thin, but you notice the bad thing, right? This is the bad thing. You lost all these moving averages. You're just holding below them. Like, the main thing we need to get across here is, hey, you're above the 200. That's great. That's a step above AMC. But you really need to curl up this MACD. You need to get the RSI back pointed up above that center line, and you need this price action to take back those moving averages. You do this, you do this, you do this, you're back in action. That's all it takes. Like, if you really think about it simply, that's all it takes. RSI above the center line, MACD curled up, this curling up above all the moving averages, and you have another opportunity there where momentum is saying upside. Was it legal halting for an hour the other day? Probably not, but I mean, in my mind, no, but probably yes. And the other way to really look at that, Robert, would be, are there even cops? Be genuine. Are there even cops that are, you know, like, if you would consider them cops, you know, if we go do something illegal, cops catch us. So if they do something illegal, is there even a form of cops to catch them at this point? You really think the SEC is going to catch them at this point and really do something about it? The amount of people making this problem so easy to see is just stupid. There are no cops, so anything that they do is going to be legal until they break the whole system, and then they're probably just going to get a bonus for it or something. They're going to be like, oh, bail out the banks and give me 10 million while you're at it. I never thought of using the 2-hour chart before taking your course online, and now I def see why they are used and work. Game changer for my support and resistance trades. That's awesome, Short Fridays. Yeah, I like the 2-hour because a lot of people like the 1 hour and a lot of people like the 4-hour, and the 2-hour gave me that in between, and I just really enjoyed it, and I've researched it extensively. What we need to start doing is making these hedge funds fines up to 1 trillion. Yeah, well, right now, and thank you so much for the $10, but right now, you realize the fines. Okay, like, I'm gonna go find an article for you guys. I'm gonna find you this article. It was like, we're running, and thank you so much for that. Let me see here. Federal regulators. No, that's not it. Where was it? That's March. Where the heck is it? Damn it. There was like an article. Oh, come on. Okay, well, there was an article where the fine, so I'm pretty sure it was like, oh, these funds or banks have been running a fake stock market. Did you guys ever see that? It was like they were running a weird system or something like that. They were doing illegal behavior in like their stock exchange or something like that. I don't know if you guys saw that article. But so they probably made from scamming, the exchanges, they probably made like what? At least tens of billions of dollars, right? Probably tens of billions of dollars. Do you know how much they were fined? I think they were fined like $54 million. I mean, that's just pretty much a kickback to the government at that point. Also, why does the government get the fine money? I feel like that money should immediately go back to, like, I don't know, maybe like straight to veterans who are suffering and homeless. I don't know. Like, maybe education systems. I don't know, like something more useful than just giving it back to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to go give it to Zelensky. Like, or go make, really get that infrastructure going and make 7 charge ports for electric vehicles using $100 billion. It's so dumb. And then now you're hearing like money shipped over to Ukraine. We can't even keep track of it. So I'm just not excited about anything that gives money to the government even more. Yeah. One day I'll definitely run for I'll be the Fed chair. Yeah, I'll be the head of the Fed. I'll be the head of the Fed, and all I'll do on day 1 is quit and not do it. I'll be like, that's how you be the best Fed president. You do nothing and you let the market. Yes, with every, I'm gonna change the Fed. So if we ever give you some kind of paycheck for whatever, or when we do print money, it also comes with a QP Mayo. Hard support at 468. Well, not necessarily at 468. Really, this level 437 is my favorite. You see the bundle in here and things like that. I like this level. But what I want to see from AMC here is just curl up on this 2-hour. Just do it. If you just curl up on this 2-hour, even the 4-hour, you can look at the 4-hour, it's right by the center line. You just curl up on this 2-hour, but it's not looking very pretty. But if it just curls up on this 2-hour, that'd be a great sign. Yeah, but I'm just saying with the exchanges pulled around, I'm like, they made like probably tens of billions, if not hundreds of billions of dollars, probably stolen away from retail. And then they get fined 54 million. It's just not even a dent. Luke 2025, yeah. Vote me in for president the year after the election. Oh my god, dude, that would crack me up. Oh, that's so funny. How do I like, can I do a staff participant reaction? I could do a poll or something like that. See what's going on here. All right, we do have GameStop starting to curl down to lower levels. Let's really pay attention to this because this is where you can create divergences. This is the area where GameStop is potentially going to see some bounce. Remember, we haven't moved this 24.56. We've had this for a long time. We are paying attention to it. Notice that we stopped right here. We gapped above it. This is an important area. So we can drop below this. You're just now crossing on this 30-minute MACD. But if this 30-minute can just hold up here, you have yourself a big double bottom. What's up? I'm so happy. Thanks, Steve Kang. I'm glad you're happy. You can't buy GDX. Man, there's probably a problem with your system. So I exclude the extended trading hours. If I really like, I do pay attention to futures a little bit, but I just know how to look at it on the SPX, 500, the actual like here. And then I just know to look at a 2 hour because it's going to look like a 30-minute. So what are you seeing on the 2 hour right now? Right? This is what you'd want to look for. Okay, I'm seeing a divergence, but is that on the RSI at the same time? No, this is really dropping down. So that's not a good sign. You can look at it with the futures on the weekly and see that thing is about to curl down with divergence. That's probably not a good thing. So the fact that AMC and GME could pop off is still there if it's going to behave normally. Like if it's going to behave how it should when the problem actually comes to light. That's the correct way to say it. I said that very wrong there. I don't want you to misread what I'm saying. Hey, don't bring that energy back. We're having a chill day, guys. No fighting. We're having a chill day today, all right? You know, me and my friend in college, what we used to do on a chill day? I used to walk into her house and I go, hey, we're having a chill day. And she'd look at me and she'd be like, so where are we getting drunk? And we would get hammered. It was hilarious. Good morning, Trevor. Yeah, the exchanges will always mess with you until Trump's in office, actually. Trump actually may clamp down on it because they tried to do some stupid stuff to GJT, so now you can guarantee he's going to try something. As long as he's alive by election day, that is. He's got my vote. 2 minutes in the past, gonna fast forward. There you go, Polar Bear. I see the manipulation is spicy today. Yeah, they didn't even let it open. They just let it fall. There you go. Trump 2024. Yes, I'm still very nervous about things before that election, but yes, Trump 2024. I've been watching your content daily. Good content, bro. Hey, thank you, Money Tings. I had to, baby girl's been a little, we had to go visit grandma yesterday, so I couldn't put out a YouTube video. I was bummed about it, but I'll be putting one out tonight. I'll be putting a YouTube video out tonight talking about some of the signals that we could see, some paying attention to, some certain scenarios. But I think something we always got to keep our eye on here is, first of all, we got to keep our eye on this. All right, that has curled up on a 2 hour. That is saying some extreme volatility can come in, but the bigger signal is this. That weekly turning up, now you're seeing the rejection, up from up more downside here off of these moving averages. Ooh, we start to break above 1683. That's one of my lines in the sand, and you can get above 20 real quick, and you're up 11.76% right now. So kind of a crazy day. Now, the reason I'm pointing that out is because the weekly on the SPY is overall showing you kind of a flat, even down a little bit divergence on the RSI and MACD at the same time. So we can see a pretty significant drop here if both of those signals are flashing red. Let's look at the Qs. Qs are in a similar scenario where they almost have like a flat triple divergence, and now you're starting to see that break down. Maybe we want to go to the bottom of the channel, right? Maybe we want to go all the way back down to the bottom of this channel before we see some more upside. So this is why I'm being very cautious in this area with any kind of upside play. Not looking pretty. Bitcoin looks ready. When the normal market falls, it depends. You have to more so pay attention. If you want to do that style, you really have to like hold up those sectors in front of you and try to like look at the charts and see where the rotation is going into. So you will see a lot of the time people rotate out of tech, they go into healthcare. They rotate out of tech, they go into commodities. They rotate out of tech, they go into so on and so forth, right? Well, not semiconductor, but it's just up 110K. Hey, nice. Congratulations. Just remember, taking profit's an important thing. If you have a great trade, make sure it's a great trade, guys. Make sure it's not a great trade until you actually trade it back, right? What does MOM mean? It means month over month. So like I believe that is the change from month to month. So where is it? Like -0.6. Yeah, it's literally just the month to month numbers. The hardest thing to do is sell in the stock market. Don't get greedy. I learned the hard way in my trading career, take profits. Exactly. And that's why we have, moves and stuff like that. I would still say if you're looking to let some run, like if you're short on the Qs or something like that and you want to let some run, I still would say as you're outside of the daily expected move, it's diligent to at least take some kind of profit so you know you made something, or at least you take half of your money back so you're not risking all that money. And then if it does keep going, well, then you're still going to make good money. Like it's always good to kind of take a little profit to make sure it's a winning trade and then see that big move and treat this as extra. That's something that I do a lot. But most of the time I do wait till my weekly moves are hit or the gain is good enough. You've heard this if you've heard me my talk in my course, the $100 one now in the description. Both of the courses 90% off, but if you heard in that, I say sometimes, you guys, I literally say, hey, if I went short here and I see this big move and I'm up 100% or 150%, I go, that's good enough for me. I like that money. I literally say to myself, would I rather hold on to this possibly risky trade, or do I really want the $1,200 extra in my account right now? And most of the time, I can easily convince myself in about 5 minutes to be like, yeah, I want the $1,200. Yeah, I want the $3,000. Yeah, I want the 2.7K. Like, yeah, I want the even $500. Maybe it was only a $500 gain, but I have a bad gut feeling. I go, oh, I'd rather take 500 than nothing, right? That's overall what I say my mentality for the most part is throughout the course when I'm teaching. But you can wait till targets are hit. I would just highly suggest you start to use the targets that the options market gives you and not necessarily just be like, oh, when we hit this low, well, you gapped below it. Exactly. I could buy so much mayonnaise. What is HNTUSD? Oh, God, is this going to be some helium? Oh, God. Well, you have 2-hour divergences here, but it is... Oh, yeah. Okay. You have divergence at these highs. Now, you can keep turning up, right? The 2-hour, just every time this turns up, it looks like you see positivity. But I just don't like the look at this. That's... Oh, and that's a big wick from the 200. I think you're going to get rejected off the 200. I think you might curl up one more time on this 2-hour. But that's an I think. You got to see if this stuff proves. But what you're kind of looking for to see that is just if we kind of like pop up, pop back down, pop up, right? Pop up, pop back down. Then you're going to get that bigger pullback that maybe turns up in the future. We'll have to see. Oh, God. I did not look at this today. Man, it's just not a good week for this one here. And the thing is about this one is it's a scary look. It's a very scary look. Like, look at that. It's just It's not good. Now, it's interesting that the company that holds the servers that hold the information about Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton happen to be crashing down and see some outages and have some server problems. Very interesting. But we don't need to talk about that, right? We're talking about stocks. Getting that curled down here. And then Amazon, does that look bearish? You know, it's trying to hold up, but right now you have no signal for the upside yet. You really have to wait, make sure you're seeing momentum go in a certain direction, right? See if that can curl up, go positive. Right now, that's just like, it's down, right? You see how it's red here? We want to wait to see if that can curl up. Then you can start to curl up the 2 hour again, which is up. So you more just really want to see if that 30-minute can curl up. You got a good shot, but this here, it just looks like a straight downward move. I'd be a little worried looking at the daily scale. That's down low. So this is one that could see a daily bounce soon. But I mean, this could be all the bounce you get, and then you break all the way down to like 174.51, and then from there you actually see that bounce. And maybe it's complex, right? Maybe you see these again, get this, you see those again. That stuff can happen, but overall, I don't think it is like overly bearish in this area. I actually don't. I think the 2 hour is still curled up. The 30-minute is holding up, but if you do, you know, keep going lower, if we start to break these lows, you're going to start to cross over little hourly charts. And so the hourly chart here will be important for downside. And the 30-minute actually curling up is what I'd look for the upside. VIX win today. Congratulations. That is a great move for volatility. Now, here's the key thing. We are dropping to lower levels, but volatility is not going to higher levels. I know it is up dramatically, but it is not going to, it's not breaking through 1683, right? That's why I have that line there. I don't move that line. That's a very important point to pay attention to for volatility. So this tells me, I need to be careful here. I need to make sure that this 30-minute does not curl back up. We have the dollar that has dramatically dropped off, while the SPY and the Qs have dramatically dropped off. That could mean there was some insider buying, and we have volatility kind of trying to make what looks like a higher or a lower high here. I'm paying attention to the risk. As of right now, none of the signals are proving that this is going to be a rigged move back up, but I just want you to be aware of those things in case this does turn back up. If this turns back up is when we will have to pay attention to it. Until then, we know that the direction is down. What is happening with these guys over here? Oh, we're still dropping. All right, let's see if GameStop's gonna make a cool signal here. Interesting. Alrighty then, nothing really happening there. Dang it. Come on. Come on. Come out. Come out. Look at the Dow. Dow showing a similar, 30-minute divergence as well. We'll see if that can confirm. IWM, wait, we can cup and handle from that area, but we will have to see. Damn, Tesla, you're really doing it. Let's see here for Tesla. 210. You have lower to go here. I'm not even kidding. You have lower to go here for Tesla. You can go all the way down to 210. It's kind of crazy. All right, guys, I'm going to be back in just about 5 minutes. I'm going to go say hi to baby girl and use the restroom real quick. So I will be back in like 2 minutes. Like 2 minutes. That's all I need. All right, I'll be right back. I'm still here, but I'll be right back. All right. we've got a busy day, right? We've got a lot going on. We have to go get my wife's dress altered, then we have to go get my suit sized and whatever for this wedding this weekend. Ah, too much to do today. Jeremiah. Will we bounce tomorrow and crash Friday morning? Yeah, I'm really just looking at some of these like areas here, but just notice this, like you're going in this same tapering, like that wasn't the best. You'd really like to see this hold up at higher levels. This is just something extreme happening. Okay, now I'm just showing how we are seeing things, you know, curl down a little bit. We're seeing this curl up, but we have to see if that really extends to tell us like, hey, this is going to be a major move. You see if that's obvious swing trade. So the most likely direction for the VIX is up. I'm just noticing it's not beating the high from last Friday, while the SPY is beating the low of the last Friday. So I'm just aware of it. I'm aware of the support line down here towards 542.66. So how long we still have you on stream today? For now. I thought about, you know, making more of another time stream at the end of the day still, but I have to go do my suit I have to be there by 11, and then we have to pick her dress up probably after that, but then baby girl has a nap at 11:30. Jesus Christ. Oh no. Today's gonna be a bit of a mess, but that's okay. Who's in those CrowdStrike puts? I just think that's a big drop. I would have liked to be in those puts a few days ago. You want me to be a IRL streamer? You know, take me through my real life? You're just going to see my baby eating stuff all the time. Colin's sick. Yeah, she would come down here and throw her shoe at me. QQQ's is a mess. It is. That's genuine. That's a mess. Just starting to curl over on your MACD. Really starting to shut down here. Got to pay attention to weekly charts because these weeklies are looking ugly. But you know, it's where the bottom side of that monthly expected move is, right down here. We'll have to see. If Meta drops to 470, is it going downhill? More so, I would pay attention. I really like that level of about 453. All right. You do have like a weekly expected move that's down towards this area, so I wouldn't be nervous about it at all. This does look consolidative. I just want to show you this 2 hour and how pretty this trade will look for Meta if it sets up. I know we're talking about a lot of downside. There's a lot of issues, right? There's a lot of things going on. But Meta actually does have potential to create something like this. And this would be a great look before earnings. Now it is earnings, so you have to be careful with it, right? Maybe downsize that position if you absolutely want to take the trade. But as of right now, that would be a great look for a bounce on the daily. And you see the daily's curling down for a while now, so maybe it needs to curl back up at some point. That would be how it forms, in my opinion. Objective for the day, make $50 for the course. I like it. Good objective. You have something, some kind of thing to work towards. Now you need something to run from. If you have something to guide you forward and something to run from, you'll be twice as fast. Bottom Tesla, double bottom on Tesla. It's got to be on a short time frame. No. 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 Yeah, that's that Jordan Peterson. It's actually one of the best things that I do like about, you know, some stuff he's been doing lately. I've been like, but he him saying that was very, very cool. I thought that was very interesting. I thought that was a very good way to look at it. Oh God, minus 370 million revenue. Well, like a lot of these type of businesses early on, you guys realize that I think it's still to this day, we have certain stocks that are worth probably hundreds of dollars a share that still go negative like all the time, right? Like they're all in debt, they're all not profitable. They all depend on growth and getting more money into their system. So I think the same thing to be said about DJT. It's just a brand new company. Really it is, right? What, 2022-ish? So it needs to prove itself in its data for sure, and the price action will figure that out over time. As long as that is, if supply and demand were actually, you know, flowing the stock, but we know that they use their tools to create a delusion and show a stock at a certain price. Long-term investment, do you think we can buy up and dip the hold? I can't really tell you if you can buy and hold and things like that. I can tell you what momentum looks like. I think they did a little reprogramming with him. I thought it was weird. Jordan Peterson even himself said something like he wishes something against free speech, and I was like, that's just weird. Would Kamala be a potential candidate for president? I mean, isn't she right now? She is right now. Do you think, like, does she have any potential to get my vote? No, not. There is not one thing that she has done politically that I think has been a beneficial thing. I literally can't name one off the top of my head. Ew. GNRC, what is that one? Grain Corp? GNRC, god dang it. Okay. Oh. You're gonna have a divergence up here. Now you are going flat. It is a potential good move, but right now your indicators are saying downside. Just so you're aware, it's the 2 hour here giving you that divergence, kind of a rejection off of this level here. So that is there. You see it on your MACD, you see it on your RSI. Now you want to see, because this could be consolidative stuff, right? So if we're going to see this really make another big upward move, you're going to see this MACD cross. That would be a good sign. But as this is not looking good, you can start to roll over 4 hours, see a 4 hour pullback. You can start to roll over dailies. Daily looks like it could roll over soon, but maybe you need that triple divergence, right? So the swing trade I want to do on the daily charts, just because I know that in the course it's going to take more time, and most of the time I'm not doing an options play on a 4 hour. So the reason that we're doing it with the shorter time frame on the daily scale for, say, the second course is because we're most likely doing an options play. We were talking a lot about options during that, but you don't necessarily want to convince yourself out of a good move. Okay, when you're swing trading, you don't want to convince yourself out of a good move. You might be risk managing too tight. So what am I talking about here? Well, this is a swing trade, right? We can agree on this this is a swing trade on the daily scale. We see this bar right here showing us that positivity, and we want to make sure maybe right here that we weren't going to lose that or give that up. So we say, let's enter right at this area. Okay, we start to curl up. Now I just want to manage it early on the 4 hour. right? I want to manage it early on in the 4 hour because look at this dip down like this. That can really hurt me if that would have kept going and I would have curled down on the 4 hour right here. Whereas on the 2 hour, I would have been convinced out and it would make the trade a little bit more complicated. And you don't want to overcomplicate a swing trade. But you'll see here how we turned down for a brief moment. Do you see how that 2 hour gave you some confusion? Does this make sense, Onda? This is why swing trading overall I use a 4, is because this right here. This is where you'll see a lot of little restructure moves, and all you have to do is watch that 4 hour instead when swing trading. Now, if you're doing an option play, you really want to watch every single one of these times. But for the most part, you just say, and then once you get past that, a lot of the time when you get past that, so once you get once you get through that one scare, usually you can just zoom all the way out to a daily again. Right, you can zoom out to a daily again and say, where are we now? Oh, that looks like a sort of take profit signal, right? And look how much you're up. Okay, awesome, 11.4%. Yeah, exactly. So swing trading, really keep it with the daily, the 4 hour. More so in the other course, we're talking about options and those things. So that's more where you would want to take a tighter grip, right? Go a little shorter. GME is at support again. Did I say we bounce? Let's see that SPY. We ain't bouncing. We are not bouncing as of right now. We're not seeing any wicks. This thing is escalating. Watch out. Your volatility play might print. Hopefully you are still in that, my friend. We will see. That thing still is not ramping up, though. Don't you find this a little fishy? How is this not ramping up? This is not ramping up. This makes no sense right there. It should be ramping up. Bitcoin right now, you have a 2 hour crossing to the upside. So what I think you're going to get from Bitcoin is a 4 hour triple divergence. I think you get a 4 hour triple divergence. And then I think you really got to pay attention and see if that rolls over. It could get ugly. I think it could be. It could still be a bear trap based on what the dollar is doing. The dollar is dropping off, all the market's dropping off. We'll still see though. There's one support level down here. You know, right now you just want to follow your signals. Everything is pointing, sorry, I'm on a 4 hour. You want to point at your signals. Everything is pointing down. This is pointing down. Right, IWM. Well, actually, IWM started to point up. Apple pointing down. Tesla pointing down. Amazon about to point down. NVDA pointing down. AMD definitely pointing down. Meta pointing down. Right, everything is looking like it's coming down. Okay. Japanese Mayo Fund, nice. I am down with that. I'll go buy some more. So what we really want to see here is, are any of these creating some structure? Well, we're seeing some maybe form here. Maybe we're going down to a weekly expected move and that kind of thing. Thank you, Shorter Fridays, for the $5. Really appreciate it. And I will make sure to get some more mayo. All right. So for Apple, we do have the downside. We still have $3 left. So this can get even more dramatic than what we're at now. Let's look over through Tesla. Tesla can definitely go lower. It can go all the way down to something like 210. So that's going to be a crazy time. Is that right? Oh yeah, I guess that is right because of the gap up. Amazon looks like we can head a little bit lower. It looks like you can head like 7 points lower than this area right here. NVIDIA, we want to see where that one can land. Well, that thing can go 10 points lower than where we're at right now. Just so you're aware, like it can go 10 points lower down and fill this gap before we see anything. And you see some head and shoulders, right? So up. This can really break down from this area. Now we'll see if there's a rigged move by the end of the day with how that dollar is acting. But for now, you just want to follow your signals. AMD, we're seeing this head down. It can go lower than this, right? It can go like another 8 points lower, but it looks like you're setting up some kind of divergence, maybe the hourly, but you still have a lot of work to do here, most likely. So, going to be a sketchy time. Meta really breaking down. You can just head all the way down towards 453.08. That would be something to pay attention to. And Short Fridays, thank you again for the $5. There you go. Yeah, I told you we bounce. What we bounce? Which one's gonna bounce? Oh, waiting for the next route. AMC and GME really starting to falter here. Not looking pretty, but we'll see what's going to happen at this level. So this is a very important level. When we do break down below it, we see some dramatic things. See the retest and the dramatic thing. And so we need to say if this does break below it, we got to be negative on it for just a little bit for GME. AMC, similar story. This thing is not turned up. Obviously, there's fishy behavior the last couple of days. New Orleans. Man, I need to go to New Orleans. What's that sugary thing you guys got? Bolognese? Well, man, something like that. Well, let's go look at NVIDIA. I think you do have a shot that this bounces. You're still at an area where this could bounce, but it's like, is that bounce going to lead towards maybe some kind of right shoulder? Beignets? Damn it. Fuck off. Or are we going to see this curl up and just go positive? Or, you know, head and shoulders. We'll have to see. Beignets? Is that how you say it? Beignets? Or is it beignet? Beignets. Beignet? Beignet? This is the dumbest stream I've ever done now. I'm sitting here saying beignets. My Tesla 215 puts. You watch Canopy? I don't know. Let me look here. Tesla, your 215 puts. You are dramatically oversold on things. If you are applying short positions in this area, I highly suggest you wait and make sure to learn more about the timing of these kinds of things, because if you're taking short positions and you're already oversold, it's going to be a hard trade. Give this live stream a thumbs up so Luke can learn how to say beignets. We'll see. We'll see what's going on here. Amazon finally starting to cross over, seeing some bad behavior there. Naughty Netflix. Netflix actually seeing some good price action here. Very interesting. It's holding. That's weird. That's very weird, isn't it? That's holding? I feel like that's strange. I just feel like that's a little strange. Eviscerate it. Need to have a soft shell crab po' boy. Stop it, Roger. No dirty talking in my chat. Wow, the housing sector not looking very good here. I'm just gonna say that. We got some bad looks to that, man. We about to have a housing crisis. Just gonna gently say that, you know. Are we about to have a housing crisis or some shit in here? They want people to think you're crashing, and then you just send it back up. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I think, right, tomorrow we get GDP, right? So tomorrow we get GDP, and it's supposed to be positive. So you really think everything's going to fall down when the GDP is going to be positive? Right? Personal income. Yeah. Growth rates, it just got upgraded again. It was consensus at like 1.7, now it's at 2. It was forecasted to 2.3, now it's at 2.5. So now we're going to see an explosive move probably from GDP, unless it's completely off, right? We have to react to that number. We don't want to, we can look for the setups before, look at the risk to reward and take certain plays as long as we're managing the risk. But for the most part, yeah, you want to be careful with that GDP, because if it shows growth, then we have more growth. That's pretty obvious. And look at the PCC just going up. So yeah, I think we're about to see this all turn. I actually think we might see an upward move in the next couple of days. Still have a lot of data, but is Fridays enough to actually do something? Let's see, we get GDP and then we just have personal income, personal spending. And personal income is supposed to come down, but personal spending is coming down as well. So actually it's going to bump up from the previous month. I just think that people will go with the GDP viewpoint. We shall see though, guys. AMD at 149 now. Remember, it can go all the way to 140, but as we start seeing some of these signals here, is that going to reject there? I'm still just looking at this 30-minute. I'm looking at that big difference in price here. Because now you can see if we just up, there you go. That's how I would see it going up, so really pay attention if some stuff starts to curl over here. You pulled up PCC and we know VIX. What else do you look for market direction in terms of stock symbols? Really, I try to bounce back and forth between volatility. I look at the PCC, and I will also look at the dollar initially. And then as I start to look further into it, I want to go, okay, is HYG and TLT kind of following that same pattern? Well, HYG is actually going up again here. So you notice that HYG is actually holding at higher levels. Now you do have some significant divergence that can really drop off. So if these are really going to drop off, then that means maybe yields are about to go higher. Maybe we're about to see a really good GDP, and that's going to force yields to go higher because higher GDP means higher inflation. All right, so then we want to look at TLT and we'd say, okay, this thing has been dropping down for a little bit of time. I want to see if that's able to turn up. That can give me a little hint of which direction we have to go. But I would really like to be looking for, most of the time, I'm looking just briefly at PCC, seeing where it's at, paying attention to volatility and paying attention to the dollar. For now, the volatility has just remained the same, which is very surprising when you're just seeing this drop off a cliff. Very surprising. Short Fridays, thank you so much for the $5. Yeah, that's a fun little topic. Other things you can look for is just like weakness in the financial, like you can just look for weakness in certain sectors and then look at what volatility is doing and be like, oh, that's going up. Let me look for a weak sector and then I play that sector, right? So you can literally do stuff like that. You can look at housing right now and just see that that doesn't look good. The housing sector does not look good, right? So if volatility turns up, that can get a little bit worse. But this is a really high PCC. You're probably going to see some kind of reaction here. And so this 30-minute might have something to say. It's very overbought. Not really seeing reversal signals from it. NVDA cannot bounce up just yet. AMD, we're going to watch you. And this can just continue, so we shouldn't be taking any kind of play unless we see the direction, if we see those reasons to take a trade. Can't be doing it. Which earnings are you talking about? Talking about Google here. Hey, the earnings do look good, but stock go down because of probably something random. AMC. AMC, we can't even see their earnings yet, but I wonder if they plugged it in over here. This is a 30-minute chart. Let me see. Yeah, they still haven't even like plugged it in. Now I can pull it up and stuff like that, but overall I think it wasn't like the best. Revenue 1.03 billion, net loss 32 million, EPS minus 0.10, so 0.10, and then cash and cash equivalents 770 million. But it's like, no offense to everyone, I'm sure you guys want to know those numbers. I want to know those numbers sometimes, but I just don't really care what the earnings numbers are. I care what happens in the chart, just being genuine. That's just how I do things. Sure, I'll pay attention to something. I'll see if it's good or bad, but for the most part, I'm like, but if I don't see something on the chart, then I'm not doing anything. So it's like if this would cross up, that's what you need to have in here. Like GME, we just, lost all these moving averages. You can go down and test the 200 now. We can go all the way down to 20 bucks. All right, we can go all the way down to here because you just lost all the moving averages. Daily momentum could take over, you spread out. But we want to see if that's able to turn back around. We might have a 30-minute divergence forming here, so that's what we're paying attention to for now, because if this 30-minute can confirm, then it is less likely to continue heading down. Okay, and she just texted me, so we'll try to look at a little bit more. I'm not trying to look at 1-minute charts. Sorry. Logistics. You've got some little divergences across the bottom here on the RSI, across the bottom here on the MACD. Is the 2-hour curled up? If that 2-hour curls up, closes above this area, you got a good potential to see an upside move. Daily is crossed up. That's an okay sign. Now 30-minute, the only negative thing that can happen is you're far away from the center line. So watch for this. If it curls down, that means no more upside. Yeah, you're minus 2% in the SPY, but you're also minus 0.26% in the dollar. You're also positive on HYG, that's high yield growth. You're positive on TLT. So is this the overall right move? We'll find out. Right now, you can't ignore it. It looks awful. But watch by the end of the day, because we could see something go on from here. It's a great little pullback if you're calling it a pullback, you know what I mean? Because 3.6% is nothing to blink about. Take a look at IWM. Yeah, we're starting to kind of wick out on this too. You're compiling up by there. This could still be a cup and handle scenario. The hourly is turned up. If that hourly turns down, I'm going to say that's probably not happening. If the 2-hour can fully curl back up, I think you got a chance for a good move. Sava. This is going to be a 30-minute pullback. Yeah, 30-minute pullback. If this can cross up, get above these two moving averages, cross up on that MACD, get above the center line of the RSI, it looks like a good move for just a little bit. It's a 30-minute chart. And then from there, you would say, hey, this could curl up. Maybe we go fill this gap or something like that. I don't know, but I would just pay attention to any kind of reversal signal after that 30-minute, because it's literally a 30-minute curl up, could last all the way back up to this high and then be done. I don't think it looked. Yeah, it's curled up on the daily, so you still have the chance for daily momentum to take over. Yeah, I hope that was helpful. We look at Palantir. Yeah, we got that thing for you. Just remember Palantir, what we were talking about constantly was all the rejection divergence and the switching of the tapering, right? We pointed these things out where you have the tapering move up. All right, at first you're going like this, then you're going like this, then you're going like this, now you're going like that. So now you've tapered down. We saw all the rejection divergences multiple times here. You got another one right up here towards this high, and then you start to turn down. So now we're most likely going to curl down this daily chart. We are. That is screaming downside right now. So earnings will come out eventually. Let's see what date that's coming out. Monday. Okay, so this is where we can maybe see something bad, and then just see a 2 hour, or I mean, sorry, just see a daily chart get close to that center line. All right, let's really pay attention to it. But we don't have much time till those earnings. So this might be just like a brief, if this is going to be a good thing with earnings, it might be a brief pullback and then we just take off. But just know you're way up high before earnings. So 50-50 flip, the risk is really down, I think, from here. Stock market crash, finally. Weirdly enough, you're seeing some rigged behavior again. I know it's not what anyone wants to hear, but you are seeing the dollar come dramatically down while the stock market is down. So I would just have your wits about you this morning. And thank you so much for subscribing. High Energy Reviews and Investments. Really appreciate that. So what I'm overall saying here is I'm saying this is very bad for the market. It is a very bearish looking thing. Very, very bearish. But we always need to be paying attention to the dollar because that has really hinted to us a few times. We need to pay attention to volatility. How the market, if volatility was really behaving like this was crashing, then volatility would be up here while the market did drop lower. But instead, the market did drop lower and we're still lower on volatility. So that's not a good sign. No bad questions, just bad decisions. Happens to all of us. It really does. I mean, it will happen to you throughout your trading career. Now, volatility is up. If we remain like this, volatility is going to be up more than 10%. You know what that means? We have an 85% chance for an update in the SPY in the next 2 trading sessions. He's a time traveler, confirmed. This could be. We'll have to see what happens from here. I don't want to read into it too much, right? I'm more just wondering like how this all plays out. Like all this is so interesting to me. I'm gonna be genuine about that. It's very interesting. You made a ton of bad buys. Well, that's up to you. You got to see where you're at with it. But I would just say that this is a good level. Now it is breaking below that. See how it's just breaking below. That could be even the daily scale taking over. Remember, this thing could break all the way down. Maybe they really try to force it down and convince people it's dead. And then that's right before, right? Right before it happens. So I'm just going to pay attention. That's all I can do. This is down 6% today. Of course, they halt on the news. So I need this to turn back up, right? Just like GME, we need this to turn back up. If that thing can turn back up, great. If not, then it's going to go lower. I think we'll test 150 for AMD. AMD. Well, you got to see if things are confirming. I mean, you can't really just say like, do you think it will? Because I'm like, no, not at all right now. This is like 0, right? If you're saying down, will it test 150 again, like to the downside? Yeah, that was very likely because you're negative pointing down. But if you're saying, is it going to take it back? Well, I have no signal that that's happening yet. Yeah, everything's been chaotic. I just like took a step back and made 2 volatility plays and was like, cool, that's fun. I haven't really traded like a stock. Just been doing UVXY plays because I'm like, well, volatility is going bonkers, so might as well do that. Yeah, cost average, Dallas. What were you saying here? DJT bouncing. It might get into our zone eventually. We had a little zone down here, I believe. Yeah, it could head all the way down towards that zone. It really could. Down towards something like 1932. But we're just watching, we're paying attention. We're still looking at this 2 hour by the center line. If that crosses out, good stuff. Crosses up? What? I thought we looked at that. Is that really up? Interesting. It's hard. Ooh, that'd be true. That'd be juicy. This is where bear markets are fun because you're always looking for the trap. You're always looking for the right signals. I would say we don't really have the right signals, but we just have the dollar telling us something funky could go on here. Funky, because that just looks awful. There's no divergence there. Like, this just looks bad for Apple. But Apple, a couple points lower and Apple will be at its weekly expected move. Isn't that crazy? Literally, it's getting there. That's crazy. Is the hourly going to give us like at least, okay, the hourly is going to give us some divergence here. That's nice. Thank you, hourly. Really appreciate you. My goodness. Hold on, I'm checking something out real quick. Okay. Sorry, I blanked. I was reading. On NVIDIA? I think you could have something similar to it, but the 30-minute divergence was down here. That led to the upturn. That curled back down, so now it's crashing back down. So more so want to see, hey, hourly has just turned over. This can head lower, right? But maybe it wants to buy back up or something like that. Paying attention to weekly expected moves. We know that NVIDIA can go lower than where it's at right now. It can go 10 points lower. So do I really think like, oh, this has to buy up right now? No, it's actually the opposite. I think this is going to crash down until I see that turn back up. Do you see my mentality? It's, hey, this is red, so this is going to crash. Or this is going to fall down. This is going to fall down. This is going to fall down. That's all I'm saying. And then once I see that thing just bloop and go green, I go, okay, this is going to go up. Right? I react. I'm not trying to predict anything. I'm just making the scenario where I need to react, right? So this is saying downside. That is all of that is being said here on this hourly chart. It says downside until that turns back up. AMD, similar story, right? 30-minute, we see that curled down. This is saying downside. But if that would curl up, that'd be pretty good, right? So that could lead to some upside. Meta, downside, right? Pretty much everything's going to say downside. AMC, saying downside. GME, saying downside. We'll still look. There might be tapering here, right? This way, this way, this way, maybe. We'll have to see. I have about 40 minutes. So it is about, I think it's like 20-minute drive, so yeah. Dang it. I'm not looking. I don't want to go. I don't want to go do my suit. I want to watch stonks. Any chance AMC goes back up? Yes, there is always a chance of any stock going up or down at any time. Now, is there a chance of it going up as of this moment? As in, the better question or better form of that question might be, Carlos, just to see, are we seeing signals that could send AMC higher, right? That's maybe the better way to kind of phrase it. 30-minute, no, we are not. We are seeing downward signals. 2-hour, no, we are not. We are seeing downward signals. 4-hour, no, we are not. We are seeing downward signals in negative territory again. Daily, are we seeing an upward signal? No, we are not. We are seeing a downward signal for AMC. Now, let's just put it in perspective. Monthly scale, though, we are seeing something that is good for AMC. So we want to pay close attention to any time that this daily can curl back up into positive territory, all right? You're still in positive territory. This is not dead. Remember, I said I am not calling this dead until I see it really getting low into negative territory, really cross that center line. As of right now, you're still positive. You're still game time. You're still barely game time for GameStop. So be careful with that, but you really need these dailies to rotate back up. Something that can do that early on is getting these 2 hours to roll back up. That's kind of your first signal for some positivity. AVGO's crashing. Still trying to learn this stuff. Hey, that's fine, Carlos. Ask a question anytime, my friend. I'm just trying to keep it very simple for you as well. Not trying to be like, oh, this is going to go down because of the volume and the pattern and we saw this and that. No, it's going to go down because your momentum indicator is like, hey, this is going down. And then when it goes up, your momentum indicator is like, hey, this might go up because it's negative, but might. And then it goes boom, it pops, and you go, okay, cool. Reversal, bounce it, louder. So like this one, 30-minute, pointing down. So this is not positive by any means, right? This is not positive by any means, because look, it's pointing down. So what about this is like, hey, buy calls. Absolutely nothing. Death metal soundtrack, yeah. There's nothing good about this price action. There's nothing good about this look on the MACD. There's nothing good about this look on the RSI. Let's look at the 2 hour. Now that's a little different, right? A little bit different. It does not look good in the price action. It looks like a bounce that was coming in the 2 hour MACD, and then it does not look good on the RSI. So the MACD gives you that little bit of right? A little bit of we were getting a 2 hour bounce. So maybe if this dropped a little lower, I could find that divergence and find something like that. Maybe I want to see if it stays within the tapering that it's got going on in the bigger scale. Maybe I want to notice that there's some kind of pattern developing here, and maybe if it does drop to here, I need to pay attention. Maybe I could find that on an hourly chart, see if that's able to dip down for a few hours, see if that can hold down there, and then see if that curls up and goes positive. That's how you really want to start to look at stocks, in my opinion. VIX looking so strong, but it's not breaking through to the max, I would say. I like the look. I'm not going to say that this isn't a bullish thing for volatility, right? Kind of bearish for the market. So this is a very good look. This is fantastic, actually. Looks great. I'm glad. I hope some of you guys are making some money out there with that look. Well, UVXY, I don't do my analysis on UVXY. This would be more of a buy signal for volatility right here, which is when UVXY will head up. So you want to do your analysis on volatility itself, but that's exactly what I'm worried about, Tactical Ted. That's exactly what I'm worried about. This is not breaking to new levels while the stock market heads lower. So technically it should be like matching lower, right? Because the stock market went lower, so that means this needs to be higher. And so that's just not the best look. It doesn't mean that it can't catch up. It still can. But you're just noticing on the hourly, we could just dip right back down. You're saying Microsoft is absolutely crashing. It's falling through the floor, guys. Things are falling apart fast. Things are falling apart fast. We have NVIDIA down 3%. We got AMD down 3%. We got Google down 4%. Microsoft down 3%. Tesla down 11%. We have a lot going on. So I'm being very, very cautious with it just in case. But this is a great look. These are great trade setups. They really were. You see them curl over on these simple MACDs for the 30-minute swing trade down, and boom, you get rewarded right away. Now, that's not to say, it's more just like, what are they doing? Are they really trying to fight down these stocks? Are we really fighting down GME? Something fishy going on all across this, man. Bitcoin and gold, the only things that are really up. Bitcoin, gold, and HYG and TLT were up. Now the VIX up 15. So as we start to break through these levels, we'll see that 4 hour has confirmed up. So now we're going to make that higher move, it looks like. I want to look for 2 hour divergence. Whenever that confirms, oof. That might mean that's like the actual, that might mean we're actually going to create a bottom with that for a little bit on the daily scale. So if that 2 hour divergence confirms on the volatility, you could see this daily actually start to kind of mellow out, roll back up. We'll see. By the end of summer? Well, if that's going to happen by the end of summer, then you're probably going to need some short squeezing. But that's showing some potential upside here. But 300? I have 242, like 243 marked off, but 300. So it's just, does that mean some kind of squeeze is coming? Because that's what it seems like to me. But thank you for the $5. My theory is I'm just following these signals as much as possible. And right now I'm seeing this kind of turning down. It's not giving me the best thing. Like, it's really curling down. Now, if I look at the shorter time frames, I'm going to see this little 30-minute pulling back. I think if this 30-minute can gain some ground here and make an upward move, then you're making an upward move. But is that going to be, you know, a whole month or two to get you towards 300? Because that's pretty much you saying 2 months. So that means we're going to see a big move up to here. We're going to see that curl down, and then we're going to see a massive move up to 300. Rate cuts coming in. If we get a strong GDP, a really strong GDP, and we do rate cuts, that is just backwards thinking. What's my opinion on SPY? That's fine, Alejandro. I can go look at it real quick. My opinion on the SPY is we're seeing some weird things. We are dropping down. This makes total sense, right? We're dropping down. We actually curled over on our MACD before we actually had this drop. So if you were paying attention to a 30-minute intraday and you knew this could drop off, we gapped below our daily expected move, and now we are heading lower. So we want to see if there's going to be any kind of reversal here, just because the dollar is dropping down at the same time. So just being cautious with that. But really, when you zoom out on things, you're like, the 2 hour just now crossed and it's not oversold. Now you are coming into this area where I think it would be very good to bounce from, because then you can set up maybe some kind of structure to head down. But for now, you would say this is your next support, see if you get a bounce, and then you might head down to that weekly expected move. So we'll just pay attention to this. But for the most part, you're supposed to get a good GDP tomorrow. So SPY, I think it would make sense to head for this. We do by the end of the day, though, you have to always keep in mind, by the end of the day, we have a 68% chance just to land right here for the day. Does that have to happen? No. But it can. I think usually when you are, like, this is some weird behavior to gravitate towards that weekly and not really go for it. Usually when you gravitate towards them, you go for it. So we're seeing some interesting stuff. Qs have more so of keeping the tapering and the divergence. Very cool there. I hope that was helpful, Alejandro. It's kind of a complicated time for it, but I think we did pretty good there. All right, guys, that is where I have to hop off. I do have to hop off today. I have to go get my suit for this wedding. We have to go get girls dressed. We have to do all that stuff. So if you're trying to learn this stuff, by the way, just make sure you go click those links in the description, especially because these are 90% off. You have a $50 swing trading course and you have a $100 course to trade in any market. Really respect you guys for coming out today. Thank you for joining. I'll get that face cam back up tomorrow and we'll have that YouTube video for you guys tonight. Watch out on Patreon, as we may be giving you an update video in the next couple of days. All right. Thank you guys for joining. I gotta go. Peace.